You know, one of the biggest debates that's going on right now during these pandemic times is, should we let these big companies go out of business or should we bail them out? Should the government come out and cut a $10 billion check, $20 billion check, and help these companies not go out of business? They're too big to fail companies, similar to what happened in 2008. And some are saying no, some are saying yes, we should bail them out. And some who are saying no are saying, well, wait a minute, this is not capitalism. This is a form of socialism to the big companies, because you're not letting the smaller guys who have stayed disciplined, maybe they've stayed liquid, maybe they're trying to compete, maybe they're better for the customers, maybe they're trying to offer a better proposition for their products. You're not allowing them to compete with the bigger guys. Let this cycle take its place. Let it take its course. If somebody else has more money that they've saved, they should buy them out. And these guys ought to go out of business and their customers will go elsewhere. We should let that take place. Who's right? You know, when you see, I lived in LA for a long time, 24 years, you would always see forest fires, and it was always a concern. And there's two different kinds of forest fires. There's a kind of forest fire that kids do. They go out in the forest, they're playing around, and they, you know, messing around with a match or cigarette, or they're doing something fire. That's man-made fire. But there's a natural forest fire. And if you talk to people who study nature, they will tell you natural forest fire is needed. Now, why is natural forest fire needed? Why would anybody want to have a natural forest fire? Here's why. Because if you ever go in a forest that's filled with these massive trees and you're walking, you don't get a lot of sunlight. It's dark. The trees are covering everything. Sun is a form of nutrient. Not everything else out here is getting the sun. The trees all the way at the top are getting the sun, not the ones below. What do you mean by this, Pat? Well, sometimes you need to have forest fire. Why? If you look at before and after pictures of natural forest fires, you will notice how immediately, within days, boom, beautiful green, all the way in the bottom, everywhere. What is going on over here? Those are the small business owners who are finally getting the sun. While the entire time, these too big to fail companies have been getting all the sun. Now it allows the next tree to come out. All those deep roots that are sucking all the nutrients, all of them to themselves, these other small trees couldn't compete. Now the small trees can compete with the bigger trees. This is a cyclical cycle. This happens regularly. This is why you constantly hear about stats of 60% of Fortune 500 companies from 1970 are not around anymore. This happens over and over and over again because somebody may have a better proposition today. So where am I going with this? Stats. Small business owners in America, small business owner is somebody that employs less than 500 people in their company. Small business owners in America employ 59 million people in America. Nearly 47% of all jobs in America are provided by small business owners. And some tells me times like this, maybe we are going through the process where some of these businesses need to go out of business and make some room for the new entrepreneur, the small business owners, to come up and get access to that sun, because maybe they have a better proposition to the customer that's better than the bigger guys who for years been getting bailed out by governments that give them money saying, hey, don't worry about it. I know you're lobbyists behind closed doors. You're helping out my election. Let's make sure we bail these guys out. Let's make sure we bail these guys out. Maybe it's time we let these guys go out of business so the next generation of entrepreneurs, the next generation of small business owners starts getting an opportunity to have a better product, better service, better propositions for the customers. So the next time you hear about this whole thing of too big to fail, let's bail them out, maybe it's okay for some of these guys to go out of business. What do you think about it?